Hi, welcome back to Dirty Water Dispatch. Excuse me, already screwing that up. Today I am joined by Mike Antonellis. He is a broadcaster with the Woo Sox. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm great, even though the Red Sox are in a tailspin. It's
Tailspin.
baseball season. Yeah.
We just got done watching the Sunday game with Garrett Crochet not pitching his best game again
No.
for the second round in a row. So it's kind of been a rough season so far. Mike, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I it's been extreme. I thought the Red Sox went through some extreme moments last year where
Mm-hmm.
like the pitching has been either really good or really bad. I mean, I think
Yeah.
we've seen some patches of good offense, but I think it's been 11 times they've scored 3 runs or less. So a lot of strikeouts. Top of the order seems like it's really good or really bad. Like
Yeah.
there's no middle with Story, even with Abreu. So and it happens in April, but you don't. That was one thing I liked about Romy Gonzalez last year. He's
Yes.
pretty consistent. So yeah, I mean it's and baseball is. I think I joked around in the offseason and said, watch like someone like Garrett Crochet will have a bad year. And I was kidding. But that baseball will humble you like very quickly. So
They will. And I mean, it's hard to believe we're only what? I mean, we're less than 20. Are we less than 20? Close to that anyway.
yeah, so we're about an eighth of the way through the season. So
Yeah, it's just not looking great. I actually joked with someone the other night. I feel like it's the season the Tigers, won 47 games kind of thing, is what I feel like right now. So hopefully we can turn that around a little bit. But it's been rough so far. Like,
yeah,
it's just not connecting, it seems like, at all.
right. Yeah, I mean a lot of just a lot of guys are not in good spots. Like, Meyer's not really hitting, Durbin's not hitting. Story, there's certain guys I expect more from. I mean, you do expect a lot more from Anthony, regardless of his age.
Yeah.
And I know people are saying they put a lot on him, but I mean, he's top of the order guy, and so I expect more from like the core. I call it the core. Like Abreu, Story, Contreras, Anthony. The guys that have been around, they need to be better. It's just inconsistent. Yeah. And the pitching, I mean, Crochet's your worst starter right now.
Which is wild because I have joked, well, not even joked so much as just actually begged for it, for like us to just clone Crochet 4 more times. So you could just have that. But now it's like you don't want that. And someone messaged me and was talking about like Bayo last night, and I was like,
yeah,
I don't know what you expected, honestly. I mean, he was up against Schoolboy. So anyway.
right.
There was, in my mind, there was not a chance we were actually gonna win that one,
but he's been a disappointment. It's his 4th year.
Really,
yeah,
because he's just not there. And no matter how much we all want him to be there and how much they've coached and trained him, it's been a while now, and we're just not. I mean, I don't think I see it, but my voice matters less. So, I don't know. It's been really frustrating for several years now. Like, we just can't seem to get there, but that's okay. Maybe they'll figure it out. It's just April.
It's that's
April.
A good thing. There's 141 games left or something like that. Yeah.
It just seems like it could be June. Okay. Well, so you work with the Woo Sox as a broadcaster. Why don't you tell us about a little bit of your history with baseball and then how long you've been working in the business?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up here in New England, so that's a training. I think right away was just getting introduced to the game when I was really young. I fell in love with it instantly. My dad didn't really push it on me. And then you just kind of grow up going. I mean, I went to Fenway. I mean, I got on so many times as a kid, and I always kind of admired the broadcasters.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of that's kind of all the training, like learning the craft through them. It was something that I really wanted to do. Like, I put my mind to it right away, like in the early 90s. And I did an internship at a small radio station. I announced Legion Baseball for 2 years. That led me to an internship in 1997, and I've been in the game ever since. This would be 30 years. And I think I definitely enjoy it more now than I ever have.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never really. It always feels new to me. Like on opening day, it feels like it's brand new, like how I felt my first year. But I'm even having more fun on it. I think I'm not full time anymore, so I think I've had time to kind of reflect a little bit and realize like how lucky I am. I will tell you that radio. We do radio and TV, so there's a lot of us there every night, and that job can be the same anywhere. But I work with people that I absolutely love, and they're like little brothers to me. And we have Natalie, who's like a sister. She's our sideline reporter. But I love going to Polar Park, and I get so excited to see the people I work with. And that means something. Like I've had people say, "Well, if you're calling baseball, why does it matter?" I'm like, it just does. Like we truly all love each other. We eat dinner together every night. We were on a group text. Like it's great. So I mean, I'm a Mass kid who's working on a Mass team that's a Red Sox affiliate.
Yeah.
And I spent 15 years in Portland. So I mean, I've done some stuff for the Red Sox. So I'm so lucky to have had those opportunities. I mean, the odds are not in my favor, but it's something I never really thought about. Was like I don't think about odds, or I don't know. I just can't be consumed by all of that stuff.
No, I mean for sure, and knowing what you want to do early on and putting all of your effort towards that. I mean that really, the payoff must feel that much better to be able to do what you love to do. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, when the good thing when you get older, you kind of, when you first get into doing this, I mean, you have no clue what you're doing. There really isn't a manual. You can listen to other guys, you can ask people, but it's hard to get into like how you do it. And like, so I've had so many years of how I feel like it should be done. And I don't really think about that when I go to I don't really, like when I go and go there, and I don't think about, is this the right way to do it? Am I doing it right? Just do it. So, and I can enjoy it more, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But and I get to work with somebody every night. It's a different person, because they rotate us all. And that is just the biggest joy, is that I get to do TV some nights. I get to do radio. I've done sideline. But yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, the Woo Sox are a pretty incredible organization. The fact that we do every game on TV in the minor leagues, I mean, that's
yeah.
I mean, nobody's doing that. So
no. Speaking of like the different ways of doing things, when we had Lenny on the pod, he said at first he was researching, and he had like a notebook of notes, and it took him, I think he said, like half of a season, maybe when he first started, to really whittle that down, because he had to remind himself that he actually does know this game. And he can talk about it and not have to like keep referring to his notes the whole time. Did you ever have that kind of a thing as well, like where you'd over prepare, not really trusting yourself?
Yeah, and I tell younger people that the game is out there, not here. But we all prepare differently, which is it's fine to look at how other people do it. You have to find kind of your own way of doing things. But I'm always, I pick up stuff from the guys and gals I work with. Even people who are 30 years younger than me. I like some of the new ways of doing it. You should always have a ton of stuff prepared, and you probably use 5% of it, even if that. It switches from TV to radio. I'll tell you now, with the pitch clock, it's harder to fill time as much. When you watch a team play a lot like your team, you don't really need to do a lot of prepping. When you have a partner all the time, you can kind of like just make a show of it. So you kind of you just know when to use. You figure it out. TV's a show too. Like TV is all about making a show. And like the partner in TV, it's almost like a 50-50 split. So you're both kind of part of the act, and there's a lot more moving parts. But yeah, no doubt. I think every broadcaster when they're younger, you do need a lot of stuff because it's you don't know what you're doing, so
Yeah.
you can use the crutch of just filling it in. But I think everyone kind of figures out like, yeah, I don't need to do that much, and it can take a lot of time, to really know.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine, but I can imagine just in the sense of like, I can picture myself researching every single little tidbit
Yeah,
about a single player and then not using a bit of it, but knowing that I have it just for peace of mind. Uh,
right.
yeah. So all the years that you've been with the Woo Sox, recently, I feel like in the last couple of years, especially, they've had a lot more attention thrown on them, with the three big prospects, the big three, as they were nicknamed.
Yep.
Could you feel the different shift in energy and all that at the park, at Polar Park?
Yeah, I think we were talking about this last homestand where we saw direct a tick up in ticket sales because of Roman
Hmm.
Anthony and
Yeah.
Meyer and Teal, and we did this huge press conference in this club that we have. It's actually where we're located, the broadcasters, the DC. You've been up there, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did a huge press conference for them, which I've never seen. Portland did a lot with them too, and then Campbell was kind of the other guy. He was the big four.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible. Like, and those guys were incredible to be around. Roman, to me, was such an old soul. Like he felt like they all felt like big league guys, even though they were
Hmm.
kids. But yeah, I mean, I have not. I was in Portland for some pretty remarkable players.
Hmm.
Mookie, Sander. I mean, all of them. But this was different because earlier in my minor league career, well, I started in the Red Sox system in '05. The minor leagues wasn't as cool yet as it's kind of gone the other way. Theo really brought this to Boston, but this was a major news story. Like, these guys hadn't even played AAA yet. They
No.
were. It was crazy. So we thought last year was probably one of the best teams that we had from start to finish, and then
Hmm.
this year too, we seem to have a lot of good prospects. But yeah, that's going to be probably one of the most memorable years, was having all those guys in 25.
It was just so much fun to hear about it. I mean, the fact that we got told season after season that we're building the farm system, we're building the farm system, we're building the farm system, and then to see it come to fruition, really. And I was up there in 24 for my first Woo Sox game, which is kind of hard to imagine. I mean, or Paw Sox for that matter. Just always went to the Red Sox games when I was in Boston, but
Yeah.
it was such a fun environment, and you could just kind of feel like you knew that these guys were going to be, eventually playing for the big team. And I happened to be there on Section 10 night, I think, for my
Yeah.
first Sox game, which was also, I mean, it was just packed to the gills, and everybody was, running around trying to meet the boys on that one. But you mentioned the prospects on the Woo Sox this year. Do you have like your current top three that you'd like to share about, or
Yeah.
no?
I mean, I think it's kind of easy because Tolley is obviously one,
Obviously, yeah.
right? But then after that, I think it's debatable. I would put Mikey Romero in there, even though he's not on the 40 man. I don't think that matters, like in terms of prospects.
I don't.
And Jake Bennett, who they got in a trade, a starting pitcher. He was in the Luis Perales deal. He's been really good, but Mikey is a player that kind of got lost in the big three hype because he was hurt, and he's young. He's only 22. He's actually pretty young for AAA, but he was a first round pick in 22, but he just wasn't in that mix yet. He was kind of a year younger than the big three. So will be interesting to see what happens with him, because he's a left-handed hitter that plays second, can play third, could play short. I don't know where he fits in yet, but all that can change. I mean,
Everything can change so
it changes.
quickly
Yeah,
on any team, especially with the Red Sox. I feel like
yeah,
they're not afraid, I don't feel like at this point, to change things up,
Right.
as evidenced by last year and everybody's implosion when we traded Devers, right? So
Yeah.
there's always anybody up at any time. So yeah, that could be fun to watch for real. I mean,
I do like that about Breslow. I think he's aggressive. I think you have to be and like I've told a lot of people, my biggest, not to go off subject, but my biggest issue with ownership is that you cannot keep switching the voice of the baseball operations. Like they went from,
right.
you can't keep doing this every 3 years, because I don't know how many people understand this, but like if you got rid of Craig Breslow, the next guy that comes in, they change everything, like philosophy, and there could be players, they might not like Roman Anthony. You don't know. Like just the same way that Breslow didn't like some of the guys Heim did. Heim didn't like some of the ones that brought. You can't keep doing that, and that's going to cause flatlining. It's why most organizations don't do that. If you look around baseball, people can criticize the Yankees. I know they have not won since '09, but they've kept one voice there for over 20 years, and they've been pretty consistent winning and doing things one way. Like if Breslow had, he's done with pitching that's never been done since I've been in the organization. Maybe if that had happened over the last 5 or 6 years, they'd be in a better spot. And so you got to allow for some growth.
Right. And I feel like, everybody said it's rebuilding. But as you mentioned, that is hard to do when you keep changing.
Right. You can't.
The voice of that role, because you get to a point where you're almost there, right? You can almost see the light. I mean, and then it's, nope, we're going to change everything.
Right.
We're going to change everything where you've been working on. So I do. I mean, as much as Craig Breslow does make me a little crazy sometimes with either the way he does things or doesn't do something, right? Like we all have that crazy opinion. I do hope he's there for many years to come, just for some consistency.
Yes. And he's never done this job before too,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, let's give him a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you have to have some consistency in this, I feel like, anyway.
Yeah.
To kind of build a program that we can go off of. Yeah. I know we got all very excited last year with the Red Sox actually making it to the postseason for the first time in 1.5 million years, it felt like. And so to have this kind of horrible start, I know people can get really frustrated, but as we've said, it's just April. So plenty of time to turn it around and get some wins and make things happen. But yeah, so in terms of AAA ball, from what you have been able to witness and whatnot in your role and being in the ballpark, what is the balance between like player development and them winning at the level that they're at?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think AAA, I mean, they do want to win, but like we
it's different though.
It is different. Yeah. I mean, I think it's good to have a winning culture, but we just don't manage games to go all, you know what I mean? Like we're not going to use high leverage relievers back-to-back nights to win games, because it's just not the way it works. Starters are on a different pitch counts. Also just the way that guys operate. So like, for instance, and I talked about this because I've been able to see Toley live a lot. He has 97 or 98 in the chamber whenever he wants, but they don't want him doing that because that's not going to be, AAA is a lot of, well, what would it take today to win in the big leagues? So you'll see guys, I see guys in it could be a 13-1 game in the bottom of the ninth. You're winning, and that pitcher will go out there and he'll pitch like it's a 1-run game, because he's not going to just throw fastballs down the middle. And because that's not how you would do it in the big leagues. So like there's ways that, they might pitch differently according to, like, if you're a young guy, you need to work on stuff. So you're going to just keep throwing certain pitches. Then there's the older crowd, like Tommy Kahnle, who's got 13 seasons in the big leagues. And he's just out there just trying to put up numbers to either get out of there or get called up to the big leagues. but yeah, you know, a lot of these guys know they're close, so it can be a little bit of an baseball is an individual game.
It is
So
very
like
much so.
it does, you know, I don't want to, you know, it doesn't matter if you win, but it does. It's kind of a weird thing. Like I think in the lower levels, it's more important, but at AAA, you know, if guys are developing and, you know, I do enjoy it more though if we're winning.
Yeah, I mean it's fun, especially for the people there.
Yeah.
And all that. It's great to go and watch a win. But for player development, I think, like you said, you're kind of just getting them to the next step and working on the things they need to work on to get to that next step.
Yeah.
But they're still super fun. I would encourage anybody to go to a Woo Sox game. I think I had a blast. I mean, I thought it was fantastic. It's just that smaller, you know, stadium, just such a fun feel. What in like throughout all of the years that you've been doing this has been one of the coolest parts of your job that some people might not necessarily think about?
Yeah, I mean, it's the people no doubt the people you meet.
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, I've been able to, you know, I was thinking about this the other day, like when I was 13 years old I'm 1986, that was my favorite Red Sox team ever. I mean, I would have never in a million years thought that I would meet a lot of those guys on that team, like Rich Gedman, who played on that team, who I mean, I was a huge Rich Gedman fan. And then he became our hitting coach in Portland. And Rich and I became very close. We used to walk and during road games, we would walk in the morning, and like I would just annoy him about that season. Like I would bring up, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I know, I was there," you know, but he understood it. So like that is, and you know, and Rich is still he's still the hitting coach with the Woo Sox. I've met Dwight Evans. I've met a lot of ex-Red Sox players.
Mm-hmm.
But all the guys, like even the guys that, you know, the guys that don't make it to the big leagues, like I talk to some of them still. It is ultimately the relationships you make. You know, the job's great, of course, but you don't, when you're younger, you don't plan that you're going to meet people that will be like forever in your life, you know, and that's a real cool part of it. But it's still pretty cool to be my age and like be a fanboy. And, you know, it's just cool. You know, like Rich, the other day we're in the clubhouse, like Rich walked by me and gave me like a fist. And it's like, who would have thought that, you know? I don't think I would have wanted to see my future when I was 13. You know what I mean? Like people say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that I never saw that, like, because it makes it the moment better now. Like, I mean, I would have dreamed. I mean, I had dreamt of like when I was a kid. I mean, if someone ever told me that, like, you get to spend time with those people, I would have just lost my mind.
I understand that completely,
You know?
especially like the 86 thing, because
Yeah,
we're pretty close to the same age. And so when I say 86 to a lot of people, they're like, oh my gosh, I wasn't even born yet or something.
yeah,
And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you had like the super high of watching that team, right? And then, of course, it didn't kind of go our way in the end, but it was amazing. And so when I first went down to fantasy camp last year and got to meet, you know, like you said, Gedman and those guys, it was like, I get to meet these people that I, you know, remember watching so infatuated with as a kid. Not to mention, I mean, you know, when you're down at camp, you do get to meet like the 0407 guys as well. And so it that, and now I have, I'm friends with a lot of them, and I never thought in a million years that would ever happen. Like,
yeah, you know, and I get a lot of people saying like, how can you like that team that didn't win? I'm like, it's not about that.
no,
you know,
still, like, it was so much fun to watch as a kid. And I often joke that my parents actually woke us up for the ending of the season, not thinking that they were going to mess that up. But, you know, and that the heartbreak disappointment as a kid going, oh my gosh, no.
That was hard. Yeah, I remember
hard, but you still loved them. I mean, you still loved all those guys. And the guys
when you're in Portland, we had Bill Buckner there, and he spent a whole inning with me on the radio. And my assistant at the time said, like, when he walked in, he's like, your face was like, and he was like the sweetest guy on the planet, and unfortunately passed away. But, and I in Binghamton, New York, Wally Backman was the manager, and Wally played on that 86 Mets team. And I was in the clubhouse with him after a game till like 4 a.m. talking about that whole World Series. Like, those are things you can't. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I know they kind of just brush it off a little bit like, oh yeah, I was there, whatever. It was great and all that. But they know how much it means, especially to the fans that watch them and, still care. And they will happily just, yap on with whomever it is. And I was lucky enough to get to talk to a couple of them myself. And so it's just so much fun. It's just so much fun to do. And you get to do that for a living. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah.
So I know you mentioned Gedman, but who has been the most memorable player or personality that you've covered over the years?
I mean, Mookie's got to be up there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he was on the 14 Sea Dogs. Mookie's the first player like at AA that I saw who had the entire team in awe of him. We had, he was 21 or 22. We had players close to 30. I mean, Mike Brenly was on that team. Mike's works for the Red Sox right now. But everybody was so in awe of Mookie. And if Mookie made an out, it was like, what's wrong with him? Like, he held such, and he was only in Portland for like 6 weeks, but it was the game was so easy to him when it's not easy, and he moved from second to center and he did it like in one game. He figured it out. What's really cool about that was that next year he came back and rehabbed and joined us in Akron, Ohio. I think it was in 15 or whenever it was, but I was kind of the only person that knew Mookie, and he came on the bus and said hi to me, and all the guys were just like, "You know him?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know him." But he's just a cool guy. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, there's so many. I mean,
oh, for sure.
Xander was a terrific guy. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and it's so sad for those of us who did have had the pleasure of seeing those guys in a Red Sox uniform, obviously, as well, that they're no longer on your team, which is just the game of baseball, right? Like your favorite player, a lot of time move on. I know we were super lucky to have, Poppy for most of his career in Tech and those guys, right? Like in our minds, I think a lot of people are going, no, that you should just stay with the team forever and never leave. And that it doesn't work out like that. And it's so cool to watch how their careers have developed, whether it was their choice to leave or not. And fun that everybody gets, had that opportunity to see them on the minor league teams as well. I mean,
So, I mean, it's a funny story. I mean, Dustin Pedroia was on the first Sea Dogs team I worked for in 2005. He was one of the first players I met because we would pick the players up from the airport. I always had to go.
Yeah.
And then he played his last game as a pro with the Sea Dogs.
Oh my
God!
God.
I got to call it, and it's funny when he came back and he walked in the clubhouse. I mean, the guys were really, and the first thing he says, he sees me, he goes, "Why the F are you still here?" But that's just Pedroia.
That's absolutely what he's like.
That's him, and he just starts chirping, and I told him you need to do stuff, and he's like, "I'm not doing shit for you," but that's just his love language. But awesome guy, pretty obvious when he was coming back that we knew he wasn't gonna come back. No. I think he told the reporters one day, "I'm not sure this is gonna work." And I was like, wow, for him to say that. And then we saw him taking batting practice and he could barely hit the ball. It was really hard to watch. But that last little hurrah, like he rode the bus with us on the road, and he did whatever we asked him. And Brock Holt was there at the same time. And the two of them did whatever we asked. We needed them to do asked them to shoot some videos for us, and they're like, sure. And like when the big league guys come back and rehab, and Ortiz did that in Portland. I mean, that's a whole nother level of fun too, because they were always really cool to be around. And I have so many stories about like that stuff too. I could tell you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just amazing, honestly.
You know that they buy like that's the big thing when they come down is they buy a big spread post game.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that they do. So like they have to, and so when a big leaguer comes to the minors, they'll drop like $1,000 for dinner. And we all I'll get a chance to have some of that, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That's the only reason we like them to be there is the food. We could care less.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the only reason you like the
only reason. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly not getting to watch some of the greats rehab it.
Right. Yeah.
So you grew up in Boston, or you grew up in Mass, but as a Sox fan, what is the most fun game you've ever attended? And it can be an away game or at Fenway.
Yeah, I'll have to go with the family connection. In 1983, I went to Yaz's last series. Believe it or not just the last game. My grandfather took my dad and I to that whole series, and that's probably one of the most memorable. I mean, that's something I'll take. That's the best thing I ever did with my dad and my grandfather.
Yeah.
Little did I know that I think he grounded at the second base like, I don't know, 8 times, maybe more. And he was probably trying to hit a home run. Like now that I know, that I'm older, and I'm sure the pitchers were serving him.
Well, of course he was, right?
Yeah. And that the fact that he did that whole running around, and I think I still have the tickets in the program somewhere, but at the moment, him doing that whole running around, I don't think I realized how amazing that was until years later. But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
That I've been to World Series games and all that, but that was
I mean, that's awfully special, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know that you can beat that. I don't have any story like that. Mine is a playoff game, but it was a really big one for us. It was Game 7 in New York in 2004.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Like, to me, and someone said you got to come up with a different answer. I'm like, it's not going to be a different answer unless I see them win the World Series. And even then, I don't know that it's going to mean as much to me as that particular game did.
How did you swing that to get to New York?
I was campaigning on a presidential campaign. I was in Iowa, and I got a call from a buddy, and they're like, this couple, she's having the baby, so she won't obviously be there. And
oh wow,
she's told him that he can't go either. So we have 2 tickets. And can you get to New York? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm coming to New York. Like, I don't care if I have to like thumb it to get there kind of situation. I will be there for that game. And so they were a bunch of Yankee fans, but I show up like head to toe Sox. I was wearing my jersey at the time, and it was the most amazing thing. I was just, losing my mind, bawling in the House of Pain, watching that happen. And as you mentioned when you were talking about Gedman, I actually got to tell Alan Embry this story at camp last year. And like, I know you're going to get this a lot, that people like fanboy over you, but I was there and I got to watch it. And that meant more to me in my 20s, like obviously waiting my whole life to watch the Red Sox make it to the World Series. And then go on to win it. But without that game, we don't get there. So it was a pretty unique experience. And as I've said a million times, I just don't know that I'm ever going to top that game. Like,
no, that's a tough one to top.
I just don't know. Even if you watch them win a World Series, which is fantastic, and we've been lucky enough to do that 4 times, I just don't know if the state, because you're not going to have your first World Series ever again. So
yeah, I mean, it's literally the best. I don't think there's a single comeback that will ever match that, because
no.
And it's funny. So I started in Portland in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the people that I worked with in Portland, they were actually at Game 3 when they lost 16 or whatever. So not only were they down 3-0, they gave up 16 runs in Game 3.
Yeah.
So I just don't think that you could, what they did, I don't know what will ever be matched,
No.
Especially it was the Yankees.
It was the Yankees.
Yeah, they were really good,
It was such a thing. And, my niece has become a Red Sox fan. Thank you, Jaron Duran, seriously, because I don't know that I would have got her there without Jaron Duran being a Red Sox. but she kind of did a deep dive into Sox, and she watched like all, there's a million documentaries on that now, and she's watched every single one of them. And she just was like, I don't even know if I would have survived watching those. And I said, yeah, it was rough.
It was
like
rough.
You're just praying 4, 5, 6, 7 that you actually come out with those wins, because it was so do or die. And after game 3, as everybody was, we just really weren't sure that
Yeah,
was
I mean, and things lined up
fruition.
for them at the end. They had Pedro and Schilling, but
Mm.
still, you still had to get to 6 and 7, and they still had to perform.
They still had to get
Yeah.
And Schilling and the bloody sock. I mean, like everything that could have gone wrong almost just didn't in that series, which was out of the ordinary. It felt like, as a Red Sox
It flipped. Everything that went right for the Yankees, everything went right for you the last 4.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was, amazing.
It was amazing. So looking forward to this season that we already started. You got predictions for the Woo Sox or Red Sox?
Yeah, I think the Woo Sox they're good enough, and there's going to be good enough depth behind us where I think they could finish, I'll say like 6 to 7 games over 500. I'm still going to stick with the Red Sox winning about 88, 89. That's what I thought they would do preseason. I'm just going to stick with it. I'm not going to change.
Right about where I'm at.
Yeah. Pitching is good. The pitching is better than last year. I mean, the starting rotation last year going into April was not great. I didn't think on paper. It's much better now. And I think, like you said, they'll make changes. I don't think they'll let this get to, I think you'll have to make changes, but I think they will. So,
yeah. No, I totally agree. I think it's just so rough seeing it now.
Yes.
There's so few games to go off of, though, as well. I mean, you can see that you're tied for last place.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't see it staying there, obviously. And knowing that they're going to make some changes, at least, they'll have to, as you said. But it's just kind of rough watching this stint so far through April.
Yes, and you're playing a lot of good teams too. Like you had the Yankees coming in, and then Toronto and Baltimore. Like it doesn't let up now.
No, it doesn't. And I mean, as no matter how good or bad any of the AL East are, they always are. It seems to be our toughest competition for whatever reason. No matter if like the Tampa Bay Rays are in dead last place or the Baltimore Orioles or whatever, it seems like it's always the toughest competition for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I'm kind of with you there. I think 85 to 88 games is kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. Need Crochet to be Crochet.
That's for sure. I mean, it does tick up a little bit if I can count on every 5th win, honestly, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, well, thank you so much for joining me on my podcast. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Love about the fun Woo Sox stories. That was great. And hopefully I'll see you at a game in Boston this summer. So
sounds good. Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Lesley.
Bye.